Guys, Bitcoin is down, our dream scenario is still on. Larsson Line saved my ass again. Let me recap what I've shared with you so that you can learn from the thought process how I managed to sidestep this quite severe crash, because this will happen again. Then we will look at what I think will happen from here and how I will play it. In the TA report on April 15th, I wrote like this: Bitcoin very stopped out. Last week, with price at 43,596, I wrote my entry after the breakout is stopped out. I wasn't able to buy back successfully while the trend remained up. And now I actually reduced exposure even further, down to the least Bitcoin exposure I've had in quite some time. Then what happened after that? So April 15th was here. Then Larsson Line was still neutral, it just wasn't up anymore. But then 2 days later, on April 17th, it turned down. And then the day after, on April 18th, I made this video for you. Bitcoin dump, learn from Asia right now, where I try to give you the psychological tools you need to actually press the sell button on your dear Bitcoin. Then in the days following, Bitcoin pumped like there is no tomorrow. And you won't believe how many people called me an idiot and how the process doesn't work and how Larsson Line is a joke. Well, I rest my case. Despite this pump, I stuck to my strategy and posted this video. Get off the train now. BTC, ETH, Luna, BNB, Sol, ADA. Standing on an actual train track in Hanoi. And I encourage you to go back and check the 450 mark, what I said about short entries. Because that played out exactly like I said. You can rewatch that video after this one. Then last week I posted this clickbaity thumbnail. I hope it worked so you clicked on it. Because there I explained why I did not buy back there with my whole portfolio, even though it was possible that it was a bottom formation in the chart. And I still hope that we get the mega dump. But if that doesn't happen, I'll just buy back the rest when the trend is conclusively back up. Definitely watch these 3 videos after this one if you haven't already. I think there's a lot of learning in there. So how could I do this? Was I just lucky? No, it's much simpler than that. I do analyze a lot. I think a lot, on one side this and on the other side that. But at the end of the day, for the large part of my portfolio, my real money, I just come back to my process and my toolbox. I bring up Larsson Line. Larsson Line turned down at 49,000 over here in December. Then it turned up here on April 2nd. And then we had just completed this ascending triangle and got a perfect retest. It looked great. But then the ascending triangle failed and I got stopped out again. I lost a little bit, yes. But I got out with a friendly slap instead of an absolute massacre, which would have been the case otherwise. And as a result, I have the chance to buy much more Bitcoin for that same money. The beginner trader or investor is reluctant to cut the losses. They will hold on to them instead. What you need to learn is to do the other way around. I have updated my website today. Go there, www.ctolarsson.com, and click Bitcoin. And now we have statistics for 6.5 years here. And if you've been around for a long time, you know that since 2018 I have shared this in real time. So it's real forward testing for more than 4 years now already, not an after construction. You know that the indications here were often contrary to the public sentiment on Twitter and social media at the time. And it will always be like that. I realize this video might come off as bragging, and that's not my intention, but I do want to shake you up a little bit, because most of the advice on Twitter and YouTube and other social media is so bad advice. Just look at how Plan B raked up 1.8 million followers by predicting that Bitcoin would go to 100k by the end of 2021. It doesn't work to follow people on social media and try to copy them. I'm pretty sure that even those of you who watched all my videos, good chances are you didn't follow through. And it's not your fault. There are at least 4 reasons why that doesn't work. Number 1, by the time I post something, it's perhaps already too late to take the same action. Number 2, and even if it isn't too late, you just won't have the confidence to push the button. You might overthink it, take in a second opinion and so on. Number 3, this one is not so obvious. There is a limit to how clear I can be here on YouTube. It's not allowed to make videos making calls. It's against the terms and conditions of YouTube, because that is financial advice. And number 4, you won't understand why you're doing it. Some weird Swedish colored indicator, who cares? So it's not enough to follow other people. You have to educate yourself. You have to run the tools yourself. Only then will you have the timing, the confidence, the clarity, and enough understanding of why to actually press the sell or the buy button with real, life-changing money on the line. I've said it before and I will repeat it because it is the truth. Either go here on www.ctolarsson.com, press course and indicator, and put in the commitment and the work to take this seriously. And if you don't like me, get somebody else's course then. But if you will be in the markets, you absolutely have to educate yourself and equip yourself with the tools to be captain of your own ship. Price now is $32,769 and my strategy remains unchanged. We have this range here, which was first expanding on the downside here. And then if you compare this high, you see it was expanding on the upside here in November. And because of that, I think there is a possibility that that will happen again. That it expands a little bit on the downside here and then reverses once again. At least to me, I think that's worth a shot. But if it keeps dumping then after that, I will simply cut it. And if it doesn't happen at all, if it reverses exactly now, the trend will turn back up instead, and then I will just re-enter there. There is also the drama about the Lunar Foundation guard that we have to cover today. Or are they the ones dumping the price? Let's find out. So on May 6, which is just 3 days ago, Do Kwon tweeted, Lunar Foundation guard acquired $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin over the last few days. So May 6 was here, and last few days was here then. So say on May 6, the Lunar Foundation guard reserves was worth $3.2 billion, and about 90% of that was Bitcoin. The 3.2 billion divided by 36,000 times 90%. So that's about 80,000 BTC, which matches well what's written here, 80k BTC. But Cointelegraph, covering this news, wrote that this brings its total holding to 129,000 BTC. I'm not sure why there is a difference here actually. These are the biggest Bitcoin wallets, and here is a Luna LFG wallet, which has 42,000 BTC. Is this the delta? Are these two different wallets? I'm actually a little confused here, so if someone knows that, please write it in the comments. They also had this Ethereum wallet, which over April and May sent these 125 millions of USDC when they were doing a lot of the transactions. But right now that wallet is actually empty. Now let's read what they did today. Per the LFG mandate, the LFG will proactively defend the stability of the UST peg and broader Terra economy, especially under volatility and the uncertainty of market conditions in legacy markets. As a result, the LFG Council has voted to execute the following: loan $750 million worth of BTC to OTC trading firms to help protect the UST peg, and loan $750 million USD to accumulate BTC as market conditions normalize. The traders will trade the capital on both sides of the market to help accomplish both 1 and 2, eventually maintaining parity of the LFG reserves pool denominated in BTC as market conditions progressively stabilize. So they are saying here that they will trade, but not lose money in BTC terms. Well, as we all know, that's actually easier said than done. Just look at where they bought these last BTC that they will be selling now. Then Do Kwon jumped on here and clarified this a bit. First, LFG is not trying to exit its Bitcoin position. The goal is to have this capital in the hands of a professional market maker such that number 1, buy USD if price is below the peg. Number 2, buy BTC if price is bigger or equal to the peg. So this means if USD is worth below $1, they sell BTC to buy USD. And if USD is worth more than $1, they sell USD, meaning buy Bitcoin, to stabilize this peg. And he writes, thus significantly strengthening the liquidity around the USD peg. And he's saying that while they do want to do this decentralized, that is not ready yet, and that's why they will do this in a more manual, centralized move. allowing BTC to be redeemed against UST on an on-chain DEX. We are just a few weeks away from a testnet, and until then the LFG Council decided to err on the side of caution. And I do think this makes sense actually. It's a smart move to defend the stability of UST. But for the persons interested in the Bitcoin price, like myself, what does this actually mean? Well, if the dump continues in all markets, if people lose money on one side on stocks and Bitcoin and Ethereum, they might need to sell other assets to rebalance their own portfolio. And those other assets could be gold or, for example, stablecoins like UST. Then when people sell UST, this LFG market maker will jump in there and buy up the price of UST to maintain its peg. How do they do that? Well, they do it by selling BTC. So even though those are the words, not trying to exit its Bitcoin position, short term, that may very well become the result because of this that I just explained. Then I think they hope to buy back lower, maintaining parity denominated in BTC. So as far as I understand from this strengthens the possibility that we get a deeper dump as we are seeing now, followed by a stronger recovery when they buy back those BTC to push the UST price back down as everyone is running to jump back into the crypto ecosystem and its yields. Tomorrow I will have a dental surgery, so if I don't speak much for a couple of days, you have plenty of time to start the course. Just do it and thank me later. Thank you, tack. CTO Larsson out. Hej då!